Hi, John Dwyer here, and I have my, what would I say, my partner in crime, John Formica. How are you, John?
I'm doing great, JD.
Thanks for joining us for this presentation. And the subject matter that we want to speak to you in this presentation is all about dreaming and creating, isn't it, John?
Absolutely. You need to create the dream, and we all know, if you're familiar with Walt Disney and the history of Walt himself, and Walt was an incredible dreamer, JD. He could see things way before anybody else could, and he had a great quote: "If you dream it, you can do it." And I often share that with my clients because I want them to start thinking about what is it that they want their business to be like. If it could be anything, what would you want it to be? How successful would you want it to be?
Let me ask you, this is not a mission statement.
No. This is just understanding what you would like to accomplish. And I'll give you a perfect example. When I was at Disney, and of course, managed their hotels many years ago, when we started with 4 hotels in a campground, and we were building all these hotels, and how many of you remember the 80s and 90s and the boom of movies like The Lion King and The Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid? And all of a sudden we went from 2 theme parks to 4, and then we went to, we built 2 of the largest water parks, and then we bought ABC and ESPN, and then we built cruise ships. And Disney was booming. And I had a lot of people who used to come up to me and say, gosh, it's a shame that Walt Disney never got to see this. Because many of you may not know that Walt Disney died in 1966. And the Disney World Resort opened up in 1971. And here it is in the 80s and 90s, and we're booming. And I used to tell people, Walt Disney saw all of this. We're just the ones that are making it come true. And so any business, it starts with a dream. You have to kind of see where you want to go. What do you want your customers to experience? What do you want your business to be like? What kind of experience is going to be created not only for your customers, but for your team? You got to see it first. And I always say it starts with the dream, no matter what you're trying to do.
The reason I was teasing John with the mission statement thing is because I've seen John's presentations, as he has seen mine, a number of times, and now we've joined forces. I don't know who Butch Cassidy is and who the Sundance Kid is, but...
Where was the good-looking one?
Yeah, or what is it, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin? But the point is that John highlights when he's giving some of his presentations is that mission statements normally are almost ridiculous. And even if they're not, even if they are a sensible mission statement, and I agree with him, most of them aren't, they're written out, read by the board members, and then put in the bottom drawer. And that's
right.
it.
Yeah. And there's nothing really, I know what JD is saying, and he's so true, but most companies, most businesses need a mission statement, and there is some good in it. And that is, a mission statement is going to drive you to what is it that you're trying to accomplish as an organization, right? What you're going to do, how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, who you're going to do it to, and maybe even by when. And those things are great for the company, but if you're thinking about building a business, it's what is it going to excite your people? And mission statements don't excite people. They excite the people who wrote the mission statement. That's the person
That's what I meant.
that gets excited, absolutely. But Disney, because they created a dream, he created a great purpose statement. And every business, think about this. Do you have a purpose statement? Not a mission statement, but a purpose statement. A purpose statement is not how, not what, not when, not who or where. It's why.
Why?
Because the why comes from your heart. And when you think about a business, if you believe in it, you're more engaged. And I know business owners, you believe in your business, absolutely. But does your staff, does your team, does everybody else on board believe in what you believe in?
You do.
And that's the purpose. And Disney has a great purpose statement. You know what it is, JD?
No.
Pretty simple. Make people happy. Right? Pretty simple. And you're thinking Disney, a company of its size and huge, been there many, many years, you'd think it'd have a more elaborate purpose statement. But think about it. The reason why you get hired to work at Disney is to make people happy.
Make people happy.
And guess what? If you don't want to make people happy, maybe you shouldn't work for Disney.
Which is the square pegs and square holes.
That's right. So what happens is you hire people that believe in what you believe in. But then everything is driven by that purpose. In another case, with Disney, everything we did at Disney, are we making people happy or not? If we are, then we're on the right track. If we're not, then what are we going to do to make people happy? And that's part of that dream, because Walt said, I want to create the happiest place on earth and fill it with happy people. You can't do that if you have
unhappy people working for you.
Disconnecting. So that's where that dream becomes part of that reality.
And in your experience, do you see that as being a pitfall for a lot of businesses, that they aren't dreaming, and so therefore They're just living day by day by day. And I understand the temptation to do that because you fall into a pattern. And unless you have some advisors, the likes of us, for example, who come in from the outside and say, look, have you thought about this? Have you thought about it? It just becomes ho-hum, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So in your travels, providing advice to business owners of, how to dream and how to make people happy in terms of their product or service, is there a large percentage of businesses that you come across, in fact, the majority, that just don't dream?
Yeah, and absolutely, JD. And the reason being is that a business owner gets into business to be successful, and they might dream of everything, the success they want out of a business. But unless everybody else is on board, then you got to try to make people be a part of it. And what you don't want to make people be a part of it, you want people that are already want to be a part of it. I'll give you a good example. Teachers. If you ask a teacher, what's your purpose? Most teachers will say, teach, educate, help kids graduate from school so that they're better off if they don't. Prepare them for they go to universities or colleges, or give them lifelong skills. And when I tell teachers, that's not your purpose, that's your job. That's what you do every day you come to work. But I always ask a teacher, why did you get into teaching? And that is a different answer, isn't it? They got into teaching because they wanted to make a difference in the life of a child. And we know that unfortunately there are teachers that have forgotten that purpose because they're so engaged in their jobs. And business owners are no different. They get so involved in their job, they forget why they're doing this, and they fail to get that message to their staff of why. The staff might think the only reason why I come to work is to make you money, which is okay. The bottom line is we have to make money, but why is it important to do what we do? And that becomes the engaging people. And there are 75,000 employees that work at Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida alone. And when people ask me, how did he get 75,000 people all excited about coming to work and doing a great job? It's because they all believe in that one purpose. It's not. It doesn't change based on who's the next CEO at Disney or who's the new HR rep. And if I'm one department, I don't have a different purpose statement than another one. We all fell under that umbrella that whatever we do, we're going to make people happy. Even if, JD, I work in a department that I don't deal with guests or customers, well, guess what my purpose is? To make my coworkers happy. So that then they can take care of those guests. And so it's all about that purpose. And that's where Walt created this dream first and then get everybody on board.
The comment that you make about teachers, back in our day when we were at school, they were still allowed to give you the cane or the strap we used to have. And I had a different philosophy of why teachers became teachers, because I thought they were masochists. So I figured that they just liked inflicting pain, because it was always Dwyer out the front and then bang, 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 six to the back. Were you a goody two-shoes or?
I got my fair share of being in the principal's office, absolutely. But again, if you ask people that work in auto service repair shops, right? You're thinking, okay, what's your purpose? Well, make people happy, of course, but it's really to give me a peace of mind, isn't it? We have children, when they're driving a car and that car is safe, that auto service repair shop gave me a peace of mind, knowing that my wife and children are safe in that car. Yes, they did a great job in repairing and doing everything you want, but that's their purpose, is to provide peace of mind. If you're looking at, I had a company that dealt with a manufacturing company that made bolts that went into 747 airplanes. And when I asked the CEO, what's your purpose? He said, to make good quality bolts. Okay, I get it, but that's not why I'm working.
Yes.
I'm working is, what do those bolts do? And what happened was the bolts go on airplanes, landing gear. Why is it important to have a good quality bolt on landing gear? So it works. Why is it important so the landing gear works? So the plane doesn't crash. Why is it important that the plane doesn't crash? Because people will get hurt. So what is that real purpose? Their real purpose is protect and save lives at landing. And that's, so try to make it emotional and try to make it purposeful of why you do what you do.
And a perfect segue for me to talk about emotional direct response marketing, because Disney are very, very, very good at it, of course. There's 5 components to emotional direct response marketing, and you might like to take note of these. Number 1, and by the way, if you implement this Disney style emotional direct response marketing in your business, you just watch what happens to your cash register. Just watch what happens to your phone, and watch what happens to your website being melted with pretty keen, warm prospects. The 5 components of emotional direct response marketing are: number 1, highlight your prospect's problem. Number 2, aggravate that problem. So let's just say the problem is you may be overweight and not feeling healthy. So you basically state the problem. Are you overweight and not feeling healthy? Aggravate the problem by saying, well, guess what? Spring and summer are just around the corner. Don't you want to look good in your swimsuit? Number 3, you then provide the solution. Come on to my XYZ dietary program or weight loss program, and you look like a supermodel within 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Okay, so that's problem, aggravate problem, provide the solution, and then guess what? Number 4 is provide proof. And you would show before and after photographs of the lady who's gone on the dietary program. And then number 5, call to action. And that's go to blah, 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 weightloss.com or ring a phone number. So please take note of those 5 points. Problem, aggravate problem, provide solution, provide proof, and then provide a call to action. The thing is, you do that in your advertising from tomorrow onwards, and whatever you've invested in this program will be paid for itself probably 100 times over within the next month or so, because if you do implement those, you and Disney will fall into less than 5% of the world in terms of businesses that actually use direct response marketing. Nobody does this. Disney does it like nobody else does, but because most businesses probably aren't given the wake-up call from people like us, they're still advertising on the back of a taxi or the side of a bus, or they're putting out a brochure which many, many times is printed one-sided, cardinal sin, print both sides, or they're just doing marketing which is brand-based. And if you're not McDonald's or Coca-Cola or Toyota or Honda, then there's a pretty good chance that sort of expenditure is not going to be part of your budget. You get into direct response marketing with your Facebook and Instagram and everything else, and you watch what happens if you employ emotional direct response marketing tactics like those 5.
Absolutely. And that's great to look at it from a marketing perspective, but now look at it as, JD, from the experience you're trying to create for your business. If you've ever been to Disney and you're ready to take a picture in front of like Magic Kingdom Castle or a great spot, and as soon as you're there with the camera taking pictures with your family, a Disney cast member shows up and they're ready to take your picture. Why? Because they want to make you happy if you're actually in the picture. Because if you're not in the picture, you're not going to be as happy. I get people all the time ask me, how do they get those Disney people to do that?
Wow.
Right? And I say, well, there's no quota. Like, I don't say, well, how many did you do today? I did 8. Well, get your butt back out there and do 27, because that's our standard. There is no standard. I'm a cast member, and I know that my purpose, why I was hired, was to make people happy. Give me an opportunity to do it, and I'll do it. Wow. And you don't have to tell me to do it. And so
that's culture.
It's all called. That's exactly right. It's called that you're creating that culture that people do it because they want to, not because they have to.
And to finish off this particular presentation, I want you to repeat, and I know it's been used in lots of motivational seminars and so forth, and I'm just going to ask you to repeat it. I think it's an appropriate finish to this, and that is, if you can
dream it, you can do it. And I promise you, if you dream it, you will do it.
Thanks for watching.